Hello, everybody. Hello. Do I get rid of this? Yes, there we go. Boom. We're here live in the market open. Let's see what Tom's doing right now as he's he's Oh my goodness.
Stream right now. His link is Tom. What do you think about Elon Musk? I think he's a douchebag. You're a douchebag, Tom. No, you're a douchebag, Tom. I hate you. I'm the real Tom. I'm the real Tom. Anyways, everybody, go to a midstream. The link is in the pinned comment right now. Go there right now. Check it out and start the day with a mid. I'll see you all very soon. Go to a midstream right now.
This is hilarious. That's so funny. Boom, and that's over. That's it. All right. Well, we are here live in the market open. For those that are new here, thank you for being here. What do we do in the market open? Well, we open up the market. That's pretty much what we do. We just finished Daily Capital. Hope everyone enjoyed that show. We have a lot of stuff to get into right now about what's going on in the world. Let me tweet out that I am live. That was hilarious. Yeah, I forgot I didn't take the banner off, Miyoko. So it was just left in that way, and then that's how it happened. What are we talking about today? Well, we have a lot to talk about, and Elon Musk is going to be a big one. Let me just tweet this out right now, and we're here. We're gonna get into the morning open. First of all, it's Monday morning. It's one of the last Mondays of December 2022. Live market open. One of the last. We were talking about how bearish was the correct answer. That is true, Gabe. We were talking about how being bearish was the correct answer. What are index futures? They were up last night. I'm pretty sure they're up right now as well. Let's check out CNBC. Yeah, everything's up. Everything. Look at this. It's a beautiful array of being up. We needed an up day because honestly, if we had another down day, it would have been a little sad. Even though, because we know there's a lot of downs come. Oil is up 1%, US 10-year up 0.88, NASDAQ futures up 0.20. Wow, NASDAQ futures up above 11. They were at 1088, 10,880 in Friday. So they're up 1136, not bad. And S&P futures 388, Dow futures up 4. So not too bad. Due to close the other stream. Oh, it's not closed still? Oh, let me close that stream. Let me close it. Oh, it's still live. Wow. Oh, Tom has to be able to close it. Let me close it right now. Let me end that broadcast. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market. And the reason Tesla is up in the pre-market is primarily because, there you go. It's closed now. Okay, it should be closed. This is Tom. Tom called me in the morning. He was like, "I'll hand you over the stream to your stream." I was like, all right. I don't know. It's going to be a little complicated, but we'll see how we get it done. Obviously, Elon Musk has caused a lot of drama on Twitter. And most of that drama comes from the fact that he decided that he wants to step down from Twitter. Dude, it was so strange. I left you with the whole I should have got rid of the banner before you left, but I left it with you. That was kind of funny. Hold on, we're getting a call from Tom. Yo,
you have no idea how weird this was. When you left,
I saw. I shared it on my screen. I saw you.
Oh, you saw me.
I saw you. You were like, "Oh, hey Tom, are you the real Tom? Or are you the word?" That was hilarious. That was funny. That was good.
But I think the stream will not end until you end it. Like,
I know. I just did. They told me it's not ended. I was like, "Oh, okay," and I just ended it. So it was on for like another 2 minutes after you.
Oh, okay. So enjoy your stream. I just want to say to all of you, do we have 100 viewers already in the stream?
We have 94. Yep.
94. So I would just want to say to the 94 people, this is probably going to be the most important advice you will hear today about investing.
He did this many times. He did this last time on Late Night Stock Talks. Ishan, you were there with me, where he thinks he has important investment advice, and it ends up not being important because he just leaves. But anyway, let's get into the stream. Ishan, bye. See, Ishan already knew what was happening. All right, so Tesla. So Tesla's up 154, up 3% pre-market. Elon Musk had an absolutely wild weekend. First, Twitter came up and they said, hey, we're going to ban anyone that promotes their other platforms. And people looked at this like, this is just the stupidest thing they've ever. Like, I was like, this is dumb. All right, everyone said it was dumb. Elon realized, Elon is so innocent. He's, he's like, I have an idea. And that's why he's a legendary entrepreneur, because if you have an idea, you act upon that idea. But sometimes when you have an idea, and I feel this as well, sometimes you act on the idea and the idea is shit, right? Because like the idea just sucks. So his idea sucked about stopping free promotion on Twitter, and everyone hated him for it. And then he ends up tweeting, you know what? Should I leave as CEO? Tesla's up 3% right now, primarily because people are happy that he's going to have to leave as CEO. The poll shows that he's going to leave. So as a result of that, it is likely going to be good for Tesla at the end of the day. He does that on his other show, BHTW. Is that show still going on? I don't think so. I don't think Money Talks is still going on. Probably not coming back, but it might. But I don't think it will. So we'll see. I'm fairly certain Elon stepping down was always part of the plan. I agree. I think it was. No, the most investment advice is actually Cricket's deep stuff. Yeah, very, very deep. I think Elon stepping down was part of the plan. The problem is I don't know who's going to turn around Elon or Twitter better than Elon. And so to me, it's an interesting thing to do, but it's not really. I voted no on the poll because I said, hey, I don't think he's going to be. I don't know if anyone could actually pull together the way Elon has. Snapchat down 3%. Apple up a little bit, 0.25. AMD, wow, below 70. I didn't know AMD was at these levels now. Last Friday wiped out a lot of stocks. Look at the Shopify got hit. It was like 45, now at 36. SoFi at 46. Wow, Enphase. It went to. I didn't see some of these closing prices on Friday. It's up 306 pre-market, but it's finally coming down below to the 200s. We would assume. In the overall macro markets, and Meta at 119 now going to 116. I like Meta at 105. I think we can get there to 105. Palantir 6.9 down a little bit. If we can get there, that would be a good thing, obviously, but we will see. Is this good news for Tesla? Amit Chicken Genie said he's buying back. Well, Chicken Genie has bought back already $300,000 on Twitter. So it was funny because Genius said his 140 is his price target, but he bought right before it got to 140. So it's, obviously he loved the stock, and it seemed like it was too juicy of a price at 150, 152 to resist. And that's why he bought back in. It's interesting. He'll probably just average down to 140. There's not that big of a difference between 140 and 150. He was ultimately right. Everyone, said he was incorrect, but he was right, that the stock price was going down. And apparently, let me show you guys a really interesting tweet. This tweet blew my mind, and I believe it's right. This is something that Chris shared. We didn't have 1 million jobs over the past couple of months, apparently, that we hired. We had 10,000 jobs. This is if anything, this proves Gabe's thesis even more correct. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia estimates that employment data was vastly overstated in 2022. 10K jobs added instead of 1.1 million from March to June 2022. So they say in the report, in the aggregate, 10,500 net new jobs were added during the period rather than the 1.21 million estimated by the sum of the U.S. CES estimated growth. Payroll jobs in the nation remained essentially flat from March through June 2022. This is an official report. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. This is not like some fake report or some conspiracy theory. So to overestimate the level of jobs added from March to June by the tune of 1.12 million, I mean, that's a bit insane. Like that if anything, this proves this argument that means the labor market was not as hot. I mean, it's hot, but it's not as hot as we thought it would be. And as a result of that, I bought Tesla at all-time highs. It's okay. My mom did too. She bought it like 294. So don't worry. She not literally all-time highs, but still some high prices. This is bad for the labor market. This is bad for the economy. That means there's going to be less people unemployed. It's good for inflation, I guess you could argue, because inflation will go down. But it's overarchingly bad for the economy. I mean, it's like not a good thing at the end of the day. How is it possible to be that off? Yeah, that was my question when I saw this. I was like, how is it possible to be that off? It doesn't make sense to be that off. But I mean, they were that off at the end of the day. So yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's share some of the screen. Let's listen to some stuff on Meta. European. Actually, no, let's do this a little bit Twitter now. So we'll go back to Meta in a little bit. So here is some mainstream media coverage on what's going on with Twitter and Elon. All right, here we go.
There's been a lot of news. If you haven't heard this already, the Twitter CEO is asking users to vote in a poll on whether he should step down as the head of Twitter. He says that he'll abide by the results of that poll. Steve Kovac joins us right now with more. I guess the polls are closing in about 10 minutes, Steve.
Yeah, about 10 or 11 minutes from now, we'll get the answer here. But look, just so far, there's a clear majority, Becky, voting in favor of Musk stepping down as CEO of Twitter. Now, Musk says he'll abide by the results of the poll. Of course, Musk excels at saying one thing and doing the opposite, so we'll have to see if he actually does it or not. But look, Tesla shareholders believe it, and shares are up more than 4% right now in the pre-market. And look, they've fallen 30% since Musk took over. And we saw last week alone, Musk cashed out about over $3 billion in stock, likely to keep the company running as advertising reportedly drops. Now, Musk has used polls to make decisions at Twitter over the last few weeks, like granting so-called amnesty to those previously banned, like former President Trump. He also said he'll use polls to inform other policy decisions in the future. But if he's serious, though, the question now is who takes over? Musk tweeting last night, there's no one in line to succeed him. Still, he said since the beginning he doesn't plan to run Twitter permanently. In the meantime, though, his on-the-fly content moderation decisions have upset users, like arbitrarily banning journalists and suspending users who tweet links to rival social networks.
Steve, I think this has gotten really interesting. The calls from Twitter, I mean, it's for the calls from Tesla shareholders asking him to kind of come back to Tesla and be there, maybe a big one too. He's not going to be able, there's no one who can do anything about this at Twitter. There's no board. He owns it outright. But when it comes to Tesla, it's a stickier situation because if you have big shareholders like we've heard over the weekend, who are very concerned about that because he sold down his stake, it makes it a little bit of a tougher situation. They want him there. They want him focused on it.
Yeah, and on top of that, Becky, just selling the shares, he's also seeking, or reportedly seeking, outside funding. So it's clear he doesn't have a grasp on how to keep funding Twitter as advertisers abandon. And yeah, look, I mean, the shares right now of Tesla say it all. As this poll ends here in 8 or 9 minutes, they believe he's going to step down, and that's why we're seeing the shares lift a little bit.
Interesting. The Twitter users may not want him, but the Tesla shareholders sure do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it becomes this whole thing because, look, the valuation of Tesla is intrinsically tied to Elon Musk and his behavior, even on Twitter. Like, Twitter is his greatest marketing tool for Tesla, and having more control over Twitter, I guess, in some way can also behoove Tesla and Tesla investors. But look, just we're seeing the reading the market here. They want him out. They want him focusing on Twitter. I mean, focusing on Tesla and focusing on SpaceX is bigger.
You know, it's interesting. That could be the one argument Tesla shareholders could make, that buying Twitter was actually beneficial for Tesla because it's Tesla's greatest marketing arm. The problem is you never saw Twitter arbitrarily censoring Musk in the context of shadow banning him because he was just such a big account. Now, could they have? Yes. But he never tweeted stuff that was so insane. He tweeted like funny stuff, right? Nothing crazy, even if it was political. And as a result of that, his reach was still phenomenal, which is all you care about as a company when it comes to advertising, right? Do you have the reach that establishes the ability for you to then build a brand on top of that reach? I mean, like, companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, on advertising just to get impressions. What is an impression? Let me show you guys real quick. This is an example of why Elon and his Twitter reach is so important. So let me go to a tweet that I did yesterday that was not too bad of a tweet. It was a decent tweet. And it was this tweet right here: funding secured, right? This is a funny picture. Elon, this is whole another topic. Elon with Jared Kushner likely asking Jared Kushner, that just raised $3 billion in a VC fund called Affinity Partners from the Saudis, to maybe buy up some Twitter shares. So there's no reason why he would be with Jared Kushner. He's not hanging out with that guy for fun. But nonetheless, right? It was a pretty decent post. Got about 293 likes, 12 retweets. If I click on view tweet analytics, this is the stat that advertisers care about: impressions. This is the only thing they care about. By the way, for those asking if I'm going to shave my beard, I will be doing it in 2023. I don't know when, but I will be shaving my beard in 2023. So we'll see when. Maybe in January, but I will be doing it, just not literally right now. 23,000 impressions, okay? So that's important because that means this tweet was seen 23,000 times. When Elon Musk puts out a tweet on Twitter, given the amount of reach he has, he's getting minimum a couple of million of impressions, minimum, which means millions of times that tweet is being seen. And this is the stat that advertisers pay lots of money for, because it's the only real stat that matters. It means that people saw it. Now, if they took an action on it, if they engaged with it, that's a whole other question, but they need to make sure that people see their content. And so Elon Musk owning Twitter essentially gave him the ability to, or Elon Musk having the reach he had on Twitter without buying it, still gave him the level of impressions that made Tesla the behemoth without advertising that it is, that advertisers and other car companies like GM and Mercedes pay lots of money on Twitter to get that level of reach. Elon had it as a personal brand because he's Elon. And so buying Twitter didn't really exacerbate that level of reach. And so that's the argument for Tesla shareholders. It's like, well, you didn't need to buy it to still have hundreds of millions of people follow you. I mean, they were going to follow you regardless. Which is, where we get into the question of if buying it ultimately was the right idea. All right, here we go. It is December 19th, 9:30 a.m. Shout out to everyone who's here. 187 people mean the absolute world to me coming this morning. Started this YouTube channel a year ago. A year later, here we are. The stock market, while Palantir drops 2% already. The stock market, one of the last Mondays in December, is officially open. Wake your ass up. The stock market is open. Tesla up 2%. They are very happy that Elon Musk is resigning. Apparently, we will see what happens with these polls. We will see if he has a successor in mind. And we will see if that actually materializes. Apple at 135, Meta at 117, Palantir 679, drops pretty badly at 1.74. By the way, the word of the day, I will say in a bit. You know what reminds me of the word of the day? Every time I say something is dropping precipitously, even though I'm using it in the wrong context, precipitously reminds me that I have to have a word of the day. So we will have a word of the day in a little bit. Rocket Lab at $4.20. One of my friends, Matt Money, just started a podcast called Rocket Lab Weekly or Monthly. So that'll be an interesting one to get updates on Rocket Lab. Salesforce at 128. Salesforce falling pretty badly. DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks at 164. I had a put on DNA that I got assigned to. It was one contract of 25 shares at $2.50. So I'm down about $100 on this position off of 25 shares. DNA down pretty badly at 164. It just keeps reaching all new lows. I mean, we'll see how bad it gets, but the macro might not be very friendly to a biotech like Ginkgo, which is why I sold out in October. Roku at $45. Roku getting slammed as well. Spotify getting slammed as well, $74. Target 144. Baba up a little bit, 2.83% at $89. Meta, the only one that's not getting slammed as much as big tech. If we go to Google and Amazon, Goog at 90, right near the $80 range, and Amazon also at 86. Amazon still at a $887 billion market cap. The reason I feel like Amazon is still expensive is because cloud is where they dominate, and cloud has declined not a lot, but it's like they've already dominated so much of the market. I still know we're in the infancy of cloud, but the retail business on Amazon sucks if you look at their 10Ks. I mean, they don't make a margin on it. It's staying alive, but it's not something that's super, super exciting. Amit, I would rage write articles on why the media is full of baloney and dispute the sensationalism and actual measured facts and arguments. Also, your beard is sexy, no shave. Yeah, I don't want to shave it, but I kind of also, I've had this beard since I was in ninth grade. So 8 years basically without really shaving it, like fully getting rid of it. So I think it's kind of time to just see what it would look like and do it again, and keep it going from there. Don't mess up like you did. Yeah, guys, apparently dubious does not mean foolish. It means doubtful. But I've seen the word be used in a way that says foolish. Like I promise you, there was a day where someone said the word is foolish when they used the word dubious. And I was like, oh, so it just means foolish. So my whole life I thought it was foolish, but apparently it means doubtful. So yeah, the word is doubtful. It's not foolish. Okay, let's do the word of the day. Today, the word of the day is broigus or brogius. B-O-R-I-G-U-S. B-R-O-I-G-U-S. Let me put that in right now. B-R-O-I-G-U-S. The definition means a bitter feud, a dispute or feud, and it comes from a Its root is in Jewish or Hebrew. You would say it's more used in among the Jewish language or Jewish people. There was a rift between my grandfather and cousin that translated into a big family brogius. Broigus. That's the word of the day. So Tesla is giving a lot of shareholders a brogius because they are in disputes. Now, a lot of people still voted no. Let's go back to that poll, which now is officially ended. A lot of people voted no on this. I was one of those people because, to be honest, I don't think anyone's going to turn. Remember, Twitter is in $13 billion of debt, and their interest rates are going to be rising even more every single year, or at least over the next couple months as the Fed raises rates, which means it's not going to be pretty. 42% of people out of 17 million said no. I was one of them. Let me know what you guys said in the chat. I'm sure a lot of you who are Elon fans said yes. And I'm an Elon fan, by the way, but that's exactly the reason I said no, because I don't think anyone else can turn this around. So 17 million people have voted. Let's look at some of the quote tweets. What are people saying? Musk was about to get tossed as the CEO of Tesla and managed to lose a shit ton of net worth before becoming the second richest. Okay, so this guy. So interesting. So he's saying the Tesla board is forcing him to do this. I don't know if the Tesla board is forcing him to do this. I don't know. I don't know if they have that much control over him. I think at this point he does what he wants. You have politicians quoting it. You have a lot of people putting their opinions on this. That is interesting. That's very interesting. Palantir down. This beard poll will leave your followers in a big bad brogius. That's a good one. Let's go to Palantir. If it's going to be down, it might be down 4.2, right? How bad is the... I think it is weird. Why is Palantir down this badly today? 663. That's weird. That's a heavy decline. It's more than a lot of the other stocks. I don't know why there's that decline. I guess someone's selling, maybe. Oh, Karp already sold, I think. Remember, Karp was selling to pay his taxes, so he's not selling open market just for fun. I don't know. I guess Palantir's down to be down. I would not buy yet. For me personally, I want to wait a little bit. Let's see where this goes over the next. I mean, it's 6 minutes since the market opened. Let's see how it reacts. But look, 6 is nice. I mean, if we can get it down to 610, 620, that would be even nicer. So let's see. S&P at 382. S&P totally down from the 408, 410 level it was at just a couple of, not even a week. It was like 10 days ago. It was up there. Let's look at the 1 year on the S&P. S&P was at 408. You look at this. Not even 6 days ago, December 13th, 408. Now it's at 382. So anyone who bought at 408 is now down approximately 6.8%, which is not the best. But you are down if you bought it at that time. DCA, Amigo, DCA. I'm shorting in more today. Okay, so Gabe is doing another short on Enphase. This community is moving Palantir to Tesla. Oh, man. If Palantir is a community Tesla has one day, we're going to be unstoppable, but we have to get there. Okay, let's see some other stuff by what's going on. Here we go. Let's look at this. I don't know who watched Avatar, but apparently it didn't do that well over the weekend, which I don't know. I didn't think it was going to do that well. It felt like it was going to be a little bit more of a flop. Let's hear a little bit more on Tesla and Musk. I haven't watched it. I don't know. 3-hour commitment is a lot. My camera just died, but we will see over the weekend if I end up watching it. All right, let's take another look at Elon's poll.
Shares of Tesla on this news looking up. Check it out. Stock is up by about 3% this morning. We want to talk more about this vote and what it could mean for the EV maker. For that, we are joined on the Squawk Newsline by Gene Munster, Loop managing partner. And Gene, what do you think? Let's just talk about this from the perspective of the public company here. That would be Tesla. Is this good news for Tesla shareholders?
Absolutely. It's a positive for Tesla because despite all of Elon's flaws, investors just want him to be more involved with Tesla. He just has this magnetic personality, debatable, but Tesla investors believe that. So having more of his time applied to Tesla, I think helps with just a multiple around Tesla. And second, there's this added benefit of him distancing himself from Twitter. It should improve Tesla's brand. I believe over the last 7 weeks, as he's been more engaged with Twitter, he's damaged Tesla's brand. He's become more political, and I think there is a benefit to Tesla by him stepping back from Twitter. So I think this is a big deal for Tesla investors, and I think they should feel good about, which I believe will be him following what he said and resigning as CEO of Twitter.
Vox Populi, Vox Dei. That is what he tweeted recently on another Twitter poll that he posted out there. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Do you think he actually goes through with it on this one?
I do. I think there's just a lot at stake because underneath this is his first principles approach of doing things different. It's obviously unorthodox for a CEO to put his job up for vote, and I think Elon just enjoys doing that. And so I think he has been pushing for power for the people, and that's been just one of his kind of brand angles. And so I think he will follow up on it. I think if he doesn't, it would be a black eye. And one of the other reasons why I think he'll follow up on it is there is a laundry list of reasons why he doesn't want to be CEO of Twitter. He didn't want the job. He didn't want the company originally. He said in court testimony he wants to back off from his time at Twitter. And his true superpowers are solving technical problems. Not ambiguous content monitoring problems. And so
that is a great point by Gene as we get into the next video in a second. That is a great point. Elon's superpowers are not, I have to make sure to look at this camera, not that one, because that one, Dad, I have to make sure to look at that. Elon's superpowers are not solving ambiguous social media, arbitrary, subjective problems around censorship and free speech. I mean, to be honest, no one's superpowers in that, because I've said this publicly since May, that Twitter is harder than SpaceX because it like content moderation is harder than the rocket science. Like, to me, content moderation is harder than rocket science. So if that's the case, if it's harder than rocket science, why do you want to do something harder than rocket science? Because rocket science is already hard. That is Elon's strong suit, and it makes sense for him to want to step away. I didn't know in testimony, as Gene just said, he admitted to wanting to step down and take time away from Twitter. Obviously, the judge forced him to buy it. If the judge didn't force him to buy it, he would have never bought it, and he wouldn't be in this situation. It's like he made a mistake. It was a very costly mistake. We all know it was a mistake, and now he's trying to turn it around as quick and fast as he can. And will he be able to do it? I don't know. We'll see. But to say he wants to be there and all day and deal with the mess that is Twitter, I would doubt it. But nonetheless, someone has to do something about it now. Yeah, we will see. I've been so worried about Elon, so I want him to step back and relax a bit. I think a lot of people are worried about Elon. A lot of people. From the moment he signaled interest in buying that steaming pile of sugar honey iced tea, he couldn't have made more of a mess of it if he tried. Look, and to be honest, it is a mess. It has exposed some bad things, and I think I'm happy he did it, because if he never did it, we never would have known the level of censorship that was going on. But it still is a mess at the end of the day. Let's share the screen. Let's look at this one. Let's get a little bit more bullish view right now. Stocks remain the place to be looking beyond 2023. Let's look at this.
It's now Sylvia Jablonski, CEO and Chief Investment Officer of Defiance ETFs, and Lisa Erickson, head of the Public Markets Group at U.S. Bank Wealth Management. I don't know if anyone is really that enamored of stocks right now, Sylvia, because we very likely, when we do stop worrying about inflation, that'll just be replaced with worrying about a recession and an earnings recession. So we go just out of the frying pan into the fire. I don't know. It's some people think inflation is much worse, but neither one is a great environment for stock.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's hard to get excited right now about any kind of risk exposure and getting into stocks, just given what the last week looked like. We started off with good news around CPI. We actually see that inflation is falling, and the logic there is that when inflation peaks, usually 12 months out from there, you see S&P 500 returns 13% up since the 1950s. So it seems like a good case to sort of think about getting back into the market. But then, as you said in your opener today, the Fed was just mean. Higher for longer. 5.1% terminal rate. Does it go higher than that? I think it really confused markets. And now there's this tug of war between the Fed and markets. But, I do think there is some good news here. Inflation is giving. And yes, we know that growth will probably slow. It will indefinitely slow. But if we think about what that means, a year out from the peak of inflation, is essentially next June in 2023, and markets tend to recover about 5 months before recessions end. So if we think we're going to get that soft landing and next year is really going to be, the brunt of the worst of the news for the first 6 months, you can start to look through this stuff and think about long-term investing and gathering up some deals here.
Do you go into some type of fixed income or something, Sylvia? I mean, you like the 2-year? It's not awful. It's not as high as it was, but I guess you could put money there for 2 years. Is that better than high yielding stocks?
I think in the short term, I think it's probably a safer bet. And I think, if you take a page from the book of the hedge funds, they're sitting in cash and they're looking at these, short-term cash instruments. And I just even hear, anecdotally, retail investors around me talking about these great CD rates that they see out there for the next 6 months to 12 months. But again, if you have a vision beyond 2023, you want to be in stocks because stocks are going to be the place to be. There has been a big re-rating in the market. Valuations have fallen quite a lot. And I think once we get past this higher for longer setup, and we're looking into 24, 25, looking back at these entry points here, this is where value creation happens. So I wouldn't give up on stocks. I would sort of start to dig into some of the names that I like for the longer term now and buy them up at a deal.
Not sure what to make of this, Lisa. The Journal decided to write a piece today that individual investors have been doubling down on stocks. Professionals, however, have bailed out. Small investors stay bullish, even as the pros unload stocks. If you think that we eventually, stocks are always the best investment long term, what does that say about pros that Meta down 70% or anything that you used to like that these pros liked a year and a half ago? Everything's 50. A lot of things are 50% down, 50%. Why are they not bullish now? Are individual investors bag holders?
When we look at what's going on in the markets, it really isn't that surprising that institutional investors are more cautious, and we ourselves have a more defensive stance. And it really is on the back of the fact that when you look back at 2022, we've had a first repricing based on higher interest rates and inflation bringing down the multiples that are afforded to equities. But we really haven't seen much evidence yet of a second repricing, meaning that as price pressures continue and as consumers potentially continue to slow down their spending, those earnings numbers themselves could come down, again, causing some further decrease in overall how stocks are priced. So there are really reasons for some pessimism. Obviously, we, like everybody else, continues to hope to see inflation come down at an even faster pace than it has been. But there are caution signs out there.
One of the points they made about retail investors looking for CDs, like that's actually hilarious because I've been looking into that. Like I've been, as a retail investor, you're not supposed to know that you can make money off of corporate debt or bonds. Like you're supposed to just buy some stupid stocks, right? Buy the dip. That's what a retail investor does. And, as you learn more about stocks and realizing, wait a second, these guys don't always go up. They're not always like going higher for some reason. Like I thought they were supposed to keep going higher because 2020 told me they're supposed to go. 2020, bro, every day you're up 5%. Like it's insane, bro. And it's just that's not the real world. So then you look at what else can give me money. Robinhood right now. Robinhood, the company that screwed over GME and AMC, is my most profitable investment, giving me 4% on my money right now. I mean, come on, man. Robinhood is giving me 4% APY, and it's interesting because all my cash is in Robinhood. I don't want to put it into the market. What else is going to give me 4% and like a good 4%, And so it's interesting. There's so many other options out there to be able to make money. Obviously the 10-year, 2-year still inverted. Now, if you're in the Kathy camp, Kathy still thinks this is all bullshit. She thinks everything's going to deflate very soon. And look, if Kathy's not right about this, she has been screaming wolf since January 2022. I remember watching and listening. I literally remember. It's so crazy because it's about to be January 2023. I was in my living room. The first In the Know podcast, those long 40-minute episodes where she tries to justify all the bullshit for why she's down 70%. That came out. And I kind of was in love with Kathy at the time because she still held like 37 million shares of Palantir. So I was listening to every syllable this woman said. And then I would make reaction videos to it, basically trying to analyze what she said and make sense of what she said. The problem is she didn't think inflation was real. And as a result of her analysis, everything she said made sense if inflation wasn't real. The problem was by June, we figured out at a 2-year inflation was real. Amit, can you make a video on your first foray into buying puts, selling puts? Yes, I can. That's a good idea. I can do that. Maybe I'll do that today. That's a good idea, Justin. Maybe either today or tomorrow, but I can do that as well. So as a result of that, I was super excited for Kathy. And literally January 2023, when her next In the Know episode comes out, by the way, Palantir down about 4.9% to 657. Let's see how low it goes. Let's see how low. Like, I mean, I'm not super excited to buy because I want to see how bad it gets. And then, then we'll see if we can get some buys in. But let's see what happens. Or maybe write some more cash secured puts. Maybe that's the video, right? Cash secured puts on Palantir because I want to buy it anyway. That could be the video. That might make sense. So if she's wrong about this over the next 7 to 8 months, which is what likely is going to happen if interest rates don't come down, then that means the justification of ARK getting a 40% CAGR, which is what she said in January 2022, is just not going to happen. Like, where are you going to get 40% CAGR on Roku and Zoom and all, like? It's going to be tough, man. So she will, by the way, Roku under 70. She will have been wrong for the past 2 years if interest rates don't go down and deflation doesn't happen. Now, if deflation does happen, she's going to be a genius because I don't know if her stocks are going to go to the moon, but at least stocks in general will be better. But if not, then she will be someone who had managed to get $40 billion from investors, take a lot of money in management fees, and not deliver a return. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Why is it down? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. It's just painful to watch your portfolio, man, especially if it's with Palantir. Yeah, Palantir's messing up a lot of portfolio. But look, at the end of the day, I mean, I have a very long-term view on Palantir. I don't get super scared when it goes. Look, like I'm already down a lot of money on Palantir. So if it goes down more, it sucks. But in my head, I just don't see it staying here forever, right? So at that point, it is what it is. The question becomes, what is the best buying opportunity for me? And this is one of those things where I'm either right or I'm either wrong about my DCA on this. I think I'm genuinely going to be right over the next couple of years, but we'll see. I think there's a lot of smarter people that have invested in this company other than just myself. I've just done 600 videos on it. You start to develop a level of conviction where genuinely, if I see Palantir at 650, 640, 635, there's not a pit in my stomach. I mean, there's really not. For some people, it may be because they see how much money they're down. For me, I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. I don't feel bad about it. My question becomes, when do I load up even more of the boat? Because at this point, my conviction is developed. And that doesn't mean I won't be wrong. That just means that I'm willing to be wrong. Like it's like my startup, right? I've gone all in on my startup. I am willing to be wrong on the hypothesis I had in the next 3 years. It's just, if I'm wrong, I live with it, right? Because I don't live with the regret. Like, all right, I was wrong. But I'm willing to be wrong. The same thing with Palantir. And it's the same thing if you're a Tesla shareholder. Same thing if you own, Meta. These are some of those stocks that are a little bit more asymmetrical, that are not as proven. Tesla not as proven right now because of all the externalities. Obviously, the fundamentals are good, but what's going to go on with Twitter? Like, you either have the conviction or you don't. It's that simple. There's some moments in life where you can't bet on the S&P. You got to actually take a risk with your life. And you have to have conviction with that risk. So I'm not going to have conviction over something like a Shopify. Shopify is a great, product, great story. Makes a lot of sense. By the way, I have a merch store at mitislegit.com. We got 10 people to buy hoodies. If anyone wants, I can't take out the PayPal money because they're like, you don't have enough transaction. You need 7 more sales on PayPal before they give me my PayPal money. That's how sad it is going. But mitislegit.com if you want to check it out. Shopify is not something I'm super bullish on because it's Shopify. It's like, all right, the story is like e-commerce. Cool. Palantir is like, these motherfuckers are stopping a pandemic. These guys are integrated with the Ukraine. They're getting millions of deals in government. Like, there's just so much more potential when I look at this company. I look at the valuation and I look at their potential over something like a Shopify. So if I was down on Shopify because I bought it at $170, which it was at in November and January, it would be a hard DCA because I don't give a fuck about Shopify. And I think a lot of people who are Shopify shareholders do not feel so passionately about Shopify because it's Shopify. What is my current average on Palantir? About 1803. So it's down. But buying it just gets it lower and lower and lower. How much of the portfolio is Palantir? About 60%. So, if you don't have a big thesis on a stock, then it's like on Shopify, like if your thesis isn't there, then why the fuck are you buying it? But if your thesis is there on Palantir Tesla, then you do it. You trust PayPal? I've closed my account. I with the Shopify store, you kind of have to use PayPal. So because people pay with it. So I don't use it. I just use it to collect money. And they're like, hey, you need 7 more transactions on PayPal before we give you your money. There's like $300 waiting there. And I'm like, well, I need 7 people to buy some hoodies. It's so dumb. I would buy Melly over. I've heard about Melly over the past couple of days. I haven't done research into them, but they're hold on. I forgot the full name of them. Yeah, Mercado Libre. They are up this year. They're up 3.2%. Max 2008. They went up to $2,000 a share in 2020. Where do they sell? Hold on. I feel like I've seen this brand before. Mercado Libre. Online marketplace company. Is this like a Amazon or an Etsy for South America? Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's like an Amazon for South America, huh? Let's look at their traffic. Hold on. Let me look at their traffic. I'm curious about this. I always love looking at companies' traffic when we do these things. I've seen this stock trend a little bit on StockTwits and people talk about it. Let's do this one. This is similarweb.com for those that don't know. This is a really, really dope website. Mercado Libre. Is it .com? Let's see. Yeah. 24 million visits. Wow. Headquarters in Argentina. By the way, I didn't even talk about the World Cup. We got so into stock. Shout out to to Super Bowl winners Messi. I'm just kidding. Super proud of them. I got to catch the last 30 minutes last night. So it was a pretty interesting game, and it was seemed pretty exciting. It's a Motley Fool recommendation. Does that mean anything? Motley Fool recommends everything, right? But yeah, it's not bad. I like the product and management team on Tesla. Yeah, it's interesting. So the Melly is one of those stocks I've seen that's been trending. I haven't done a deep dive into them. I don't even know why they're trending that much, other than getting some mainstream attention. But I have seen people looking into them, and Melly's the Amazon of Latin America, and it's been around for a while. I'm assuming it's been around for like the last 15 years, I think. Shout out to someone who just bought something off of Shopify. I'm going to read your name out right now. Someone just bought a shirt. Thank you to, who's the person who bought this? Cameron Houston from wow. I don't want to say where you live, but that's super awesome, Cameron. He bought a shirt. Cameron, I'm pretty sure you're in the chat. Thank you for getting that. We are one step closer to unloading this PayPal money. Cameron Houston, shout out to you. I appreciate you, man. That's super awesome. Awesome. Can you live stream on audio? Not yet. Live streaming audio it honestly sucks, to be honest. Live streaming audio is it's Clubhouse, if you guys haven't heard about that app, and live streamed audio is just a mess because it's not discoverable from a content perspective. B, it's not good. Like the content's like you hear people argue over each other. So one day we'll allow live stream audio, but for now, the future, the point of audio is to get audio discovered, not to have strangers argue in live. Also, like whenever you try to build a live app, it's like Twitch. You're competing against Twitch, and Twitch sucks for discovery. Like you don't get discovered on Twitch, you get discovered on YouTube, and Twitch is where you just bring your audience every day, and they have a culture of going live. So it's for discovery purposes being live. Because like, what if you care about listening to certain types of podcasts at 7 p.m. and it's not live? Well, then you won't have people making that type of content, which sucks, right? So that's why I've never been a fan of live. Microsoft at 241, Coinbase 35. Coinbase is getting more and more juicier to me. If this falls under 30, I think I will probably go in with my first buy. Price of sales of 1.5. If you're bullish that crypto will survive the next 10 years, I think you've got to be bullish on Coinbase. Bitcoin does not have to go to 1 million by 2030, as Kathy Wood says, but it just has to be stable at 25,000, and Coinbase will make some decent money off of it, right? So I think I think it's not the worst thing in the world, but not bullish enough yet to buy Coinbase. Not yet. Nvidia 162. It looks like Nvidia has more of a downside at a $400 billion market cap. One could argue them at a 14 price to sales. They're still pretty expensive, especially with the macro that we're going in. So I guess we will see. 250 real ones in the chat. Yes, shout out to 250 people in the chat. Daily Cowbell also, for those that did not watch it, we streamed it live. You guys can go check it out as well. It was a fun show today, this morning. Tom did a really excellent analysis about buying back mortgages and mortgage buybacks, which is apparently happening right now. So the headline is that BlackRock is saying this recession is going to be the worst it's ever been. Morgan Stanley saying it's going to be profit levels of the U.S. are going to be 2008 level, which means it's going to be bad. Like it's not going to be good. Jobs report turned out to be fake. Mortgage buybacks happening now. You can watch Tom's 5-minute explanation on that. It was pretty good and strong what he explained. It looks like 2023 might not be the best. Did Gary Vee reply? So one of Gary Vee's executives replied, and that is hopefully leading us to set up a meeting soon. So hopefully, yeah, for those who wanted a Gary Vee update, one of his top execs who does ad buying for VaynerMedia, which is his advertising agency, replied to me. He's actually excited about the app. So let's see if we can set up that meeting officially in January and keep it going. It'll be fun. Mortgage buy downs. Sorry, mortgage buy downs. Yes. How is it fake? So apparently the university, the Federal Reserve of Pennsylvania came out and says it wasn't 1 million jobs. It was 10,000 that was added. It wasn't 1 million. It was 10,000. And so because it wasn't 1 million jobs added and it was 10,000, that signals that the labor market is not as hot as we think it is, which might be good for inflation actually. But it also means that there are more people unemployed than we thought. And as a result of that, well, that's not good for the economy. That's bad. Coinbase is near its bottom. I think I agree with you, Gabe. I think Coinbase is starting to get stupid at 8 billion. They did like 3 billion in revenue last year at 8 billion market cap. I mean, it's not looking the best. Does anyone know when actual job figures will be official so we know which survey is correct? If there's only 10K jobs added during the last 3 months, the Fed should rethink their Doppler. The Fed is not going to pivot because the jobs report was less hot than they think it is. Inflation is still their biggest concern. And also this is a hawkish Fed that is committed to being hawkish regardless. Like Jeremy Siegel is going to have to be correct that inflation naturally, or Kathy Wood, right? These people are going to have to be correct that inflation naturally comes down to like 3-4% for the Fed to actually pivot. If it doesn't naturally come down that much, which if it does, then the Fed was wrong. But if it doesn't, the Fed is going to continue to be hawkish. It's just that simple. And a pivot would mean stopping, not even, a pivot should mean decreasing rates, but at least stopping. I don't think that's going to happen until we see a massive decline in inflation. So I don't think an incorrect job report would necessarily trigger that for it to happen. Shout out to the Daily Cowbell. Go watch the Daily Cowbell after the stream. We had 300 people show up to the Daily Cowbell today, which blew my mind. 330 actually in the morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that was pretty fun. That was very good. I'm going to link it in the chat right now. My live stream is ending, so we passed the live stream on to me a couple of about 40 minutes ago. I'm going to pass the live stream on to the Daily Cowbell for anyone who wants to watch that. It was a fun morning show. If your time horizon is 5 to 10 years, Palantir this low is a gift from a loving God. I agree. If your timeline is low, then it's going to be, then you should be happy about Palantir. Let me show you one quick thing before I leave. Tom just mentioned in the chat. StockMVP.com. I am not a sponsor of this. I'm not a paid endorsement of this app, but this is my friend Tom Nash's new company. And I fully support it because I've been using it and man, this thing is legit. Look, this thing is, I think there's a free trial. You can sign up. You can check it out. Again, they did not pay me to do this. Tom is a good friend of mine, obviously, and I want to support, but I want to support because I've been using this thing. I mean, the killer feature of this thing are just a bunch of cards where you get to see a lot of information. And it's one of the most organized stock screeners, stock analysis tools, whatever you want to call it, that I've used in a long time. And one of the cool things I like also is this insider thing right here. You can find out institutional ownership almost in seconds. So Tesla has 44% institutional ownership, 16 by insiders, 38 by retail. If we go to something like Palantir, the reason why Palantir is a little bit more, let's just say, Palantir is a little bit harder to be able to identify with institutions. Palantir, if you click on insider, is 34% by institutions, 11 by insiders, 53 by retail. And so it's organized really well. Lots of information here. I would definitely check it out. StockMVP.com. I've been using it a lot. It's how I'm getting a lot more of my tweets on Twitter. I just get some information, put it up on Twitter, and show all that stuff. Okay. Stock MVP is like that Everything Money software? No. So the answer to that is no. Stock MVP is not like Everything Money. Everything Money is more so of a screener. You put in a stock and it just tells you what price to buy it at. Stock MVP is a more holistic view on stocks. And that's my honest take from using it. Now, people will say I'm biased because Tom's my friend. You can say that, but I've used it for a month now. They gave me my free trial that will always be free forever a month ago. And honestly, it's one of the best tools I've used. So those are my thoughts on it. Nice job, Tom. It's really neat. Yeah, and they're adding new features every day, so I like it a lot. All right. That's it for me, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow, 9:20. Some more videos coming out today. Daily Cowboy will be live tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. And we'll keep going from there. Look at this. So Palantir is down 5.56%. Goodness gracious. We'll see how low this goes today. We'll see how bad it is. But it's Monday. Even though the stock market is down, let's enjoy the new week. We have the new week. We have a new week, new opportunity to kill it. One of the last weeks of December, last weeks of 2022. So I'm trying to take this week very seriously. Tristan, my editor, videographer for Daily Cowbell, he will be back on Wednesday from California. So more edited Daily Cowbell episodes will be back soon. And yeah, let's keep it going. We're 1 week away from the holiday break. Hope everyone has a great break. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.